You're watching News 3 HD at noon.
Jerry Shenk is with us with a new selection of videos courtesy of Video Station. Good to see you, Jerry.
Hello.
Let's get right to it.
Well, we're going to start out with what is probably one of the best crime dramas in the last, 20 years.
Really?
It's a true story of a fellow named Mazarin who was a French criminal. And this is part one of his adventures. Part two will be released at the end of March. He was a criminal who, in most of the movie, though he starts in France, is in Canada, where he was arrested, put in a maximum security prison, and which he then attacks when he gets out, trying to release the prisoners. It's a true story and gripping. Of course, it's French, so Gerard Depardieu is in this movie as his kind of godfather crime boss. And Depardieu makes Marlon Brando look like Mary Poppins. So,
Really?
This is a sinister, suddenly violent film, and it goes out of its way to explain why we have people like this.
Oh, that's interesting.
It starts out in a terrifying scene of torture during the Algiers War, Algerian War of France. Now, he was forced to do things he didn't want to do. And then, of course, society has to pay the price. But an excellent, excellent gangster movie.
In French with subtitles?
It's in French, and it also, on the DVD, has an English dub soundtrack if you don't want to read your movie.
Great.
You can watch it in English.
Okay.
Speaking of English for foreign films, Senso is a Visconti movie from the 1950s. Never on DVD because it was made of 3 strips of film for Technicolor purposes, and they disintegrated.
Really?
It shrunk. So they couldn't show them. But digitally, it has been restored. Alida Valli and Farley Granger play the lead roles, although Visconti wanted Ingrid Bergman and Marlon Brando to be in this movie. Bergman refused, so Brando did too.
What is the story about?
It's a 1888 battle around Venice between the Austrians, who were then in control part of Italy, and the Italian liberation movie. And the Countess who takes up with an Austrian officer and betrays her country and so on. Great battle scenes. And interesting things is to watch Farley Granger's hair color change. And because they tried a hair dye on him that turned it strawberry blonde.
Uh-oh.
And so you can watch that change too. But also they made an English language version while they were filming it.
Well, that's interesting.
Which was never shown in this country except on late night TV. But the English language script was partially written by Tennessee Williams.
Really?
So this is just an odd movie.
Senso.
It's a good one. It means sentiment.
Okay.
Okay, next. A really excellent documentary, The Genius Within, the story of Glenn Gould.
I've read about this one.
Yes, it takes a lot of movies from his childhood and an awful lot from him playing the piano, of course, since he was a pianist. And that makes it alone worthwhile just to listen to him play. Mm-hmm. It is just marvelous.
What is unique about him?
Well, I first became aware of him when I heard his recording of the Bach Goldberg variations. I have never heard anything like that.
Really?
That's just a lifetime experience, a life-changing experience.
Mm-hmm.
He is good. And they explain kind of what his technique was and so on, which made him so revelatory about music. Mm-hmm. He plays some familiar Mozart on here in ways you've never heard of before. You know, it just really is revelatory.
So someone, if you haven't heard of before, you should know.
Oh, yes, you should know. Well, when people list the great geniuses of the 20th century, I find it odd. They will list Freud, Picasso, Albert Einstein, and Glenn Gould. So, and he is a genius. Also experimented with recording techniques, most of which we now use today.
Something to learn in all 3 of these movies so far.
And you want to talk about something to learn, Doctor Who's A Christmas Carol is next. I like this because A Christmas Carol is good if it has a good Ebenezer Scrooge figure. And this is Michael Gambon, who is so preposterously mean, he's enjoyable to watch. What a nasty man. And it's in the Dickens A Christmas Carol. He's so over the top, he's funny.
That's an interesting combination, Doctor Who and a Christmas Carol?
Well, it's the usual maudlin Doctor Who time-bending kind of stuff, but goes to Christmas past, present, and future lends itself to that.
Is it funny, or is it more
it's funny
disturbing?
And moving. It's moving.
And moving, okay.
Yeah. And weird.
And weird.
But Gambon, as the villain, is just preposterously evil, okay? And I like preposterously evil things.
You're right.
All right, and finally, and last but not least, we have Hear What I'm Saying, which is a see what I'm saying, I'm sorry. Yeah, here. Is a documentary about deaf performers.
Oh, wow.
Including a deaf rock band. No jokes, please. How could you play rock music when you're deaf? And it shows how they do it.
Oh, that's inspiring.
And the greatest thing is the title for this band, the deaf rock band, is Beethoven's Nightmare. but you know, slightly references Beethoven's deafness there.
Exactly,
But
right.
this really shows you a lot about what these performers do. A couple actors, a couple singers, and how they adjust to being deaf and still performing.
Oh, these are all great, thought-provoking,
you'll enjoy any of
deep
these.
selections.
Yes.
What's your pick for the month?
Oh, Mesrine is the best movie by far.
Mesrine? Okay.
Oh, yeah. But the others, there are some that the Doctor Who is very enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's just fun. I mean,
Would you call it lighter? I mean, I always try to find the laugh in the...
Yes, oh no, it's lighter.
Okay.
And you know it's going to end happy. Hey, it's a Christmas Carol. What about
exactly.
You know, candy and that. So you know that would be the lighter one, yes.
Okay.
Although, see what I'm saying is also has a lot of funny stuff in it.
Oh, and very inspiring
A lot
scenes.
of moving stuff, too.
Oh, that's
They're
wonderful.
disappointments.
Great
really.
selections and a great weekend for it. Thank you, Jerry. We'll see you next month.
Okay.
And Karin has a final check of the weekend forecast when we come back.